Good morning, boys and girls. It is another wonderful day here at Morningside. I am coming to you with today's daily standards lesson. In today's daily standards lesson, we are going to be looking at the current skill, which is what we are learning about right now, dividing decimals. So let's go ahead and get started. When you are dividing decimals and you have a single digit divisor, which is going to be this number right here, that's your divisor. The easiest way is to go about it using the standard algorithms way. You can also use partial quotient, and we're going to look at that in just a moment. But I'm going to start with the standard algorithms way. I'm going to rewrite my problem because I just want to change the way it looks just a little bit. We're going to separate each of our digits so that we are able to see how that division is working. I do want to keep my decimal in my number because that's going to help me when I am getting my answer. Alright, when you are dividing decimals, you want to take care of the decimal first. It's not like multiplication where you take care of the decimal after you solve the problem. With division, you want to go ahead and take care of the decimal. The first thing you want to do is look at that divisor. If there is a decimal in your divisor, you must bring that decimal to the end of your divisor. Turn it into a whole number. If there are no decimals in your divisor, then you go to the dividend, find the decimal, and bring the decimal straight up. And that is it. Since 6, our divisor, does not have a decimal, I'm simply going to take the decimal in the dividend and I'm going to bring it straight up. Now I solved this problem just like it is a whole number problem because I have already taken care of the decimal in the problem. Alright, so start with 6 and the 2. How many times can you take 6 out of 2? Well, that's going to be 0 times. 0 times 6 is 0. Subtract, and you get 2. The 2 comes up in front of the 7. Alright, how many times can you take 6 out of 27? That's going to be 4 times. 4 times 6 is 24. Subtract 27 and 24, and you get 3. Bring the 3 up to the 6. Remember, we've already taken care of that decimal, so we don't have to do anything with it. How many times can you take 6 out of 36? That's going to be 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. Subtract, you get 0. There are no other numbers that you need to bring up the 0 up to. Your remainder is smaller than your divisor. So you have gotten your answer of 4 and 6/10. Alright, let's come over to our previous skill, And I want to look at dividing using partial quotients. This is a whole number problem, but it can still work if there was a decimal problem. You would simply take care of that decimal first by checking your divisor to see if there are any decimals. There are no decimals in your divisor. Go to your dividend, bring your decimal straight up. Alright, I'm going to rewrite my problem just like I did the last time because it helps me to reset everything. But this time I'm going to do my big 7 in my house. Alright, on this I want to take out the most of my divisor, groups of my divisor as I can. So I'm going to get my list started. Yep, you can even start a list when you're doing single digit divisors. Let's start with 9 times 10. 9 times 10 is 90. 90 is less than 832, but is also very far away, so I might want to go a little bit higher. Let's do 9 times 100. That's going to give me 900. 900 cannot be subtracted from 832, so that means I have to go lower. But I do know that 900 is not that far away from 832, so I'm going to try 9 times 90. Alright, I know I need 1 0, and then 9 times 9 is 81. 810 is not that far from 832. So I'm going to start my problem with 9 times 90. We already know from our list that that's 810. Subtract that from our current dividend. 2 minus 0 is 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. 8 minus 8 is 0. My remainder ends up being 22. Can I stop? That's right, I cannot stop because 22 is going to be more than my remainder. My divisor. I have to keep going until my remainder is less than my divisor. Okay? I know I can't take another 90 groups of 9 out because that would be 810. I cannot subtract 810 from 22. I also cannot take a group of 10 groups of 9 out because that would be 90. Can't subtract that either. So I have to go smaller. I do know that 9 times 2 is 18, which I can subtract. So I'm going to start with that. 2 minus 8, I cannot do. That is not 6. I cannot subtract 8 from 2, so I have to regroup my 2 in the tens place to one group of 10. Trade those that one group of 10 in for 10 ones, plus the 2 I already have, which is 12. So that's going to be 12 minus 8, which is 4. And 1 minus 1 is 0. 4 is less than 9, so I can stop. To get my answer, I want to add my partial quotients together. So that's 90 plus 2 is 92. And then my remainder becomes my numerator, and my divisor becomes my dividend. So my answer is 92 and 4 ninths. 92 and 4/9. Both of these strategies will work when you are doing decimals. If there was a decimal in this problem, we simply would have brought the decimal straight up into our answer. It also changes a little bit with the remainder, but we'll get into that later on. Alright, let's go ahead and look at our problem of the day, which is going to be on page 82. Page 82 for our problem of the day. Scroll my board over to the problem of the day problems. We're going to look at page 82. Alright, our problem of the day on page 82 reads, the library has 936 CDs that are kept on 24 shelves. Each shelf has the same number of CDs. How many CDs are on each shelf? Alright, going through this problem, we know that this is going to be a division problem because we're trying to find out how many are on each shelf, but each shelf has the same number. Same means equal groups, so that is going to be division. Alright, how many CDs do we have? How many CDs are we starting with? We are starting with 936 CDs, so that number is going to be the dividend in our problem. It is what we start with, what we have. Okay? How are those 936 CDs being split up or being shared? It's being shared by 24 shelves. So that is our divisor. Okay, so now that we have our dividend and our divisor, we're ready to set our problem up. Don't forget, when you are setting up a division problem, your divisor lives outside and your dividend is going to live inside. So in that retrospect, 936 is inside of the house and 24 is outside of the house. Alright, when you are dividing, when you have a multi-digit divisor, that's the outside number, 24. The easiest way to do it is to use the partial quotient method. The standard algorithms method becomes tricky because most people don't know their 24 times tables. And you have to know those times tables in order to do the standard algorithm way. So let's do our partial quotient method. Some people call that the Big 7 method because we're going to make our division house look like a Big 7. And you want to take out the most of your divisor as you can by starting with your list. Alright, start your list at 10. It's just a good way to start. 24 times 10 is going to be 240. 240 is less than 936, so we could take out 10 groups of 24, but the 240 is kind of far away from 936. So I'm going to go a little bit higher. I don't want to go too much higher because 24 times 100 is way too big. That would be 2,400. How about we do 50? Okay, I know I need 1 0. 4 times 5 is 20. Put down that 0, regroup your 2. 2 times 5 is 10, plus the 2, and that's 1,200. Again, we've gotten too big, so we want to go smaller. How about 24 times 20? Alright, so that's going to be 1 0. 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. 480. We could possibly go bigger, but if you remember, your core multiplication facts are going to be your 1s, your 2s, your 5s, and your 10s. I just used 10, a 5, and a 2. So I'm going to stick with 24 times 20 for this one. Alright, so 24 times 20 is going to be my first partial quotient. I know that that's 480 from my list. I'm going to subtract. 6 minus 0 is 6. 3 minus 8 I cannot do. That is not 5. I have to regroup. My 9 becomes an 8. My 3 becomes 13 when I regroup those that 100 into the tens place. 13 minus 8 is 5. And then 8 minus 4 is 4. My remainder of 456 is more than my divisor, so I must keep going. I'm going to look at my list and I'm going to say, I can take 10 groups out. I can't take another 20 because I can't subtract that. So I'm going to do 24 times 10. Alright, that's going to be 240. Subtract that. 6 minus 0 is 6. 5 minus 4 is 1. 4 minus 2 is 2. Alright, still my remainder is more than my divisor, so I have to keep going. I look at my list and I see that I can't use anything from my list, so I need to expand my list. I can't do 24 times 10 because that's 240. Cannot subtract that. Let's try 24 times 5. 4 times 5 is 20. Put down my 0. Regroup that 2. 2 times 5 is 10. Plus 2 is 12. 120 would work. So I'm going to do 24 times 5. That's going to be 120. Subtract. 6 minus 0 is 6. 1 minus 2 I cannot do. So I must regroup that 2. Add the 10 to the 1 to get 11. And that's going to be 9. And 1 minus 1 is 0. I still cannot stop. 96 is more than 24. So I have to keep going. Let's see. How about 2? 24 times 2 equals 2 times 2 is 8. I'm sorry, 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. 46 would work. say 46. Sorry, 48. Subtract that. 6 minus 8, I cannot do. I got to regroup. That becomes 16. 8 minus 16 is 8. 8 minus 9 is 4. 8 minus 4 is 4. Still can't stop, but I can take another 2 groups out. So that would be 24 times 2, which is 48. Subtract, and I get 0. Now, I know some of you are watching this video and saying, Ms. Dixon, you could have took out way more all the way at the top of this. I took out whatever. Yes, I could have. But the whole point of me doing this is to show you that you can do any number as long as you keep going until you cannot take out any more groups of your divisor. Alright, how do we get our answer? You want to add up all of your partial quotients. So that's 20 plus 10 is 30. 30 plus 5 is 35. 35 plus 2 is 37. 37 plus 2 is 39. So our final answer is going to be 39. There are 39 CDs on each shelf. Alright guys, I hope this helps you. Make sure you come back later on to look at today's lesson, which is going to be 17.4. 17.4. Have a great day. Have some fun with math. Keep studying. Your ACAP is coming up. I know you're going to do great.